44th session of the World Heritage Committee from Fuzhou in China. And my name is Shahbaz Khan. I'm the director of UNESCO Cluster Office in Beijing, and I represent UNESCO to China and our other cluster countries. I will be moderating today's press conference. As you know, the press conference is live streamed, and there is interpretation in French, English, and Chinese. To choose the language you prefer, please click on the globe icon at the bottom of your screen. And we are very pleased to have with us today Mr. Ernesto Ottone, UNESCO Assistant Director General for Culture, and he's joining us from our headquarters in Paris. And in Fuzhou here, we are privileged to have His Excellency Mr. Tian Xuejun, Chair of the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee. His Excellency is the Vice Minister of Education and Chairperson of the National Commission of the People's Republic of China for UNESCO. Also in Fuzhou, we have our dear Dr. Mechtild Rössler, Director of the UNESCO World Heritage Center. Now, I request Mr. Ottone to give some opening remarks to this press conference. Over to you, ADG.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that you hear me from Paris. We are very happy. We would like to be with our chairperson there, but we are trying to do the best that we can with this new form of World Heritage Committee. So UNESCO, first of all, is very grateful to the Chinese government for hosting this session, especially in such difficult circumstances. And support like this make the work of the committee possible. Then to tell you that we are living historical moment because this session is hybrid, online, but also with the chairperson there. It's 2 years of work to cover. It's the first time that we have to integrate 2 years of state of conservation, of inscriptions, and on larger debates. We look forward, as we have seen it in the last 2 days, for an efficient session. As you know, UNESCO and the advisory bodies have worked hard to present the most accurate, fact-based information regarding the state of conservation of sites, and we look for sure forward to constructive decision. Lastly, it's important to mention that, as you will know, the first instance was for more than 2 years, the preparation of the recommendation made by the advisory body and the World Heritage Center. Now we are in the second and decisive part of the work. That means that the 21 members of the committee have to decide what new sites will it be inscribed, what about the state of conservation of more than 240 et quelques sites. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we are very happy to answer all the questions that can come from the media. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Ottone, and thank you for giving the perspective in these very special times we are in. Now I request His Excellency Mr. Tian Xuejun to give opening remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, greetings from Fuzhou, and welcome to you all to the press conference. The opening ceremony of the extended 44th session of the World Heritage Committee was held in Fuzhou with live streaming to the global audiences 2 days ago on the 16th July, making the start of the committee's work. I believe that most of you have followed the opening ceremony on-site or online, and I wish to take this opportunity to thank you for your attention and interest to the World Heritage Committee session. You may have noticed from the opening ceremony that as the host country, China has attached great importance to the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee. Chinese President Xi Jinping sent a congratulatory message to the session, highlighting our collective responsibility to preserve the cultural and the natural treasures of all humanity and stressing the importance of international cooperation in this regard for the community with a shared future for mankind. Vice Premier Sun Chunlan read out the message and delivered opening remarks, reiterating China's commitment to the implementation of the World Heritage Convention and calling for concerted international efforts to protect world heritage on the platform of UNESCO in the spirit of genuine multilateralism. Madam Director General, Mr. President of the General Conference, and Mr. Chairperson of the Executive Board have all attended the opening ceremony. I am deeply grateful for their warm remarks and strong messages to the international community, reminding and encouraging us to seize the opportunity to tackle challenges for the benefit of our common planet and the future generations. These insights and visions are very important to inspire and encourage the work of the committee, especially at such a challenging time of COVID-19 pandemic. As the chairperson of an extended session of the committee, I have actually already worked with the committee members, state parties, advisory bodies, and the World Heritage Center for quite a long time. I'm satisfied to see each time we have very constructive discussions, speaking from objective and scientific perspectives and upholding the spirit of the convention. Yesterday, for the first day of the session, the members of the committee had a rich and fruitful discussion on items such as the World Heritage Capacity Building Strategy and the progress report on the World Heritage related Category 2 centers and reached broad consensus. Therefore, I have good reasons to be confident that we will achieve a successful session through hard work. Close collaboration, and open, sincere, and inclusive dialogue. As briefed just now by Mr. Ottone, ADG for Culture of UNESCO, we have a great amount of work ahead. We will examine a set of 2 years agenda items. We will update 3 important lists, namely the World Heritage List, the list of World Heritage in danger, and the tentative list. And we will approach some topics with far-reaching impacts, such as the relations between climate change, sustainable development, priority Africa, and world heritage, as well as future pathways to improve working methods and governance in world heritage. Of course, there will be different opinions and even divergences on some cases, but we will work them out collectively with consensus-based decisions. To sum up, bear in mind the responsibilities endowed by the convention. This committee will spare no effort to forge a brighter future for world heritage, the common assets of the humanity as a whole. Thank you. I'd like to welcome any questions from you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Tian Xuejun, for your opening remarks and also giving us the details of very important work which is ahead and what has been done so far. I'm very pleased to note here that we have a number of esteemed journalists who have registered. We have at the moment over 40 colleagues online, and we have also on site, as you say, in Fuzhou, 20 journalists. So to open the floor for questions, I request our esteemed journalist colleagues that please raise your hand and I will give you the floor. Please introduce yourself and say which media you represent before asking your question. And very importantly, as we are in this new mode, don't forget to turn on your microphone to speak and then turn it off when you are finished speaking. And if you would like to direct the question to our esteemed panelists, please do direct it. And if you have any difficulties, you can use the chat function. So making sure everyone gets a chance to be able to ask important questions. Let's start from first the on-site journalists in Fuzhou, and then we will, in the meanwhile, colleagues who are online, you get ready if you want to ask a question. So we give floor first to our colleagues on site in Fuzhou. Please introduce yourself. Go ahead.
我是人民日报社记者，请问田学军主席，本届世界遗产大会是在新冠肺炎疫情全球蔓延的背景下举办的，会议的组织面临哪些困难？今年的世界遗产大会将会产生哪些成果？是否会发布相关报告或是决定？谢谢。
感谢这位记者的提问。世界遗产大会啊，在会议组织和项目议题审议方面呢，有一套成熟的模式。但是呢，这个新冠肺炎疫情的爆发打破了原有的模式，给本届世界遗产大会的组织呢提出了新的挑战。一个方面是原定于2020年举行的世界遗产大会被迫呢推后1年，因此呢，本届大会啊将审议2020年和2021年2个年度的世界遗产项目，会议的时间呢更长，议题更多。另外一个方面呢，由于疫情的原因，本届大会呢是以线上为主的方式举办。那么在线审议世界遗产的议题呢，不仅需要这个有相关的技术的支持，更需要呢这个世界遗产委员会的委员国、公约的缔约国团结合作，共同的推动大会各项议程顺利高效的完成。过去2天，我们先后举行了第1次主席团的会议和第1天的全体会议，进展呢非常的顺利。我们说好的开始是成功的一半。那么我们期待呢继续得到委员国、缔约国和各界参会代表的支持，也会为此呢做出不懈的努力。本届世界遗产大会的成果呢，应该说将会体现在很多方面。一个是呢，这个世界遗产提名的项目和世界遗产地保护的状况议题是最受各方关注的。我们期待呢，新列入名录的项目将有助于增强世界遗产的代表性，改善平衡性。同时呢，我们希望通过审议世界遗产地保护状况，敦促缔约国认真的履行公约的义务，切实呢加大保护的力度。那么第2个方面呢，就大会还将审议世界遗产公约与可持续发展和气候变化对世界遗产影响的政策性文件等这些重要的议题。那么这些议题呢，将对世界遗产的未来产生重要的影响。此外呢， 大会期间呢，各方呢还将在线上线下举办呢一系列的辩会，这些辩会呢会在各自专业的领域达成共识，而这些共识呢也将会成为大会成果的重要的组成部分。那么本届大会呢也将会给东道主福州市留下很多有形和无形的遗产。北京时间17号上午，中国国务院的副总理孙春兰女士呢，和出席大会开幕式的各界的中外嘉宾，共同参加了市宜林植树活动，给福州市留下了一份珍贵的绿色礼物。那么17号呢，全体会议呢又一致通过了一份以福州命名的宣言，叫福州宣言。那么这份宣言呢，凝聚着广大会员国、缔约国的共识和行动，也是呢本届大会团结合作的重要的象征。总之，我本人呢对本届大会取得丰硕成果充满信心。谢谢。
Thank you very much for the first question and the answer by His Excellency. We move on. Are there any colleagues who are online and would like to raise their hand? While we are waiting for colleagues who are thinking about their questions, can we go again on site in Fuzhou for the next journalist colleague to ask their question? Colleagues on site here. Okay, please go ahead. And online colleagues, please raise your hands.
好，我是新华社记者。
Please ask the question.
好，我是新华社记者。今天开始，大会将审议除名和列入濒危的遗产项目。审议所遵循的原则是什么？大会借此想传达何种关于适宜保护的主张和理念。谢谢。
I think our dear Dr. Mechtild or our ADG may be in the best position to answer.
Thank you very much for the question. I think the World Heritage in Danger List is a concept which is fundamental to the World Heritage Convention, because the idea is of solidarity, as our chairperson just mentioned. It's a call for action on the ground. So we have sites which are under threat, where the whole of the international community has to work together to address the threats of these sites and to ensure that they are preserved for the generations to come. Thank you. Maybe ADG would like to add to that?
No, only if you allow me. It's important to understand that the list in danger is in the core of what was created. This convention is to ensure that this universal value that we recognize, that makes him as unique as it is, should be conserved for the next generation. And if there is a call for action in solidarity from all member states to preserve this universal value, it's something that should be seen as something positive and not as what we heard from some of the authorities in other countries as a punishment. That's not about punishment. It's how we preserve our heritage for future generations. And that was the meaning of creating this list in danger.
Thank you very much for the question and very clear answers, which puts the right context for our understanding. So our secretariat is helping us to continue to look into any colleague online who would like to raise their hand. So looks like things are very clear to colleagues. So we go again to our on-site colleagues in Fuzhou for raising the next question. Over to on-site colleagues. Kindly please ask the next question.
我是福州广播电视台的记者。我想请问一下田学军主席啊，昨天的会议呢是通过了福州宣言，那么能不能为大家介绍一下宣言的主要内容，以及中方将如何落实宣言倡议？谢谢。
好，的确呢，世界遗产委员会啊，于昨天，也就是7月17号，一致通过了福州宣言。宣言呢，重申了世界遗产保护和开展国际合作的重要的意义，以及携手努力、共同行动来应对气候变化的必要性。宣言指出呢，世界遗产作为文化瑰宝和自然珍宝，为促进文明交流互鉴和世界和平与可持续发展做出积极贡献。强调呢，妥善应对各种传统和非传统的挑战，保护世界遗产是全人类共同的责任。感谢呢，中华人民共和国政府为主办第44届世界遗产大会所做出的贡献。宣言呼吁呢，在多边主义框架内开展更密切的国际合作，加大对发展中国家，特别是呢非洲啊和小岛屿发展中国家的支持，加强呢世界遗产的教育，知识的分享和新技术的使用，并以呢世界遗产公约50周年为契机，回顾历史，展望未来，希望呢留给后代一个开放、包容、能够自我调试、可持续、有韧性和清洁美丽的世界。那么福州宣言呢，得到了各个委员国的广泛的认可和高度的评价。大家普遍认为呢，宣言非常的平衡，极具包容性，充分反映了广大会员国的关切，具有呢里程碑意义。下一步呢，中国将会积极的落实宣言提出的倡议。正如孙春兰副总理在16号举行的大会开幕式上提出的，中国呢愿意以实际行动承担国际责任，与教科文组织共同建立世界遗产教育平台，帮助发展中国家培养遗产保护这方面的专业人才，支持呢在世界遗产领域落实教科文组织非洲优先全球事项，为全球遗产保护事业，特别是提高发展中国家的遗产保护能力贡献力量。谢谢。
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you to our journalist colleague for asking those questions. We have in the chat box a request or clarification. I request Dr. Mechtild to maybe answer this. Will there be a transcript available, Dr. Mechtild?
Thank you very much. All the documents for the session are online, and all the amendments are also made available online in a fully transparent way. Then after the session, the decisions of the session will be uploaded, and we have a full summary record. But there are no transcripts of interventions at the moment when the interventions are made. It will be afterwards in the summary records. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very clear. So all the proceedings as usual and the documents will be available in the most transparent way. So now we move to the next question. I request our on-site colleagues, as we still do not have questions from online. In the chat, is there a question from? Okay, we have Andreas Landwehr. Andreas Landwehr from DPA. Oh, dear Andreas, would you like to take the floor? It may be best if you can ask the question directly. Or you want me to read it? Okay, you are unmuted. Kindly please take the floor.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. My camera is not working.
No, we can hear you perfectly, Andres, and thank you very much for taking the floor. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity. My first question is, can you brief us on the situation of Liverpool and also the Selous Wild Reserve in Tanzania, which the two sites who are on the list of endangered sites? And secondly, what are the chances that the Great Barrier Reef will be added to the list as a result of climate change? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I request Dr. Mechtild to take the floor on these questions.
Thank you very much for the questions. The discussion on Liverpool will happen most probably this afternoon. It's a site which was on the World Heritage List in danger already since 2012. And at the last session of the World Heritage Committee in Baku, there was already a warning for potential delisting. So this is up for discussion. And tomorrow in the afternoon, there will be a discussion on Selous Game Reserve in the United Republic of Tanzania. And the issue there is construction of the dam in the middle of the site. And as for Liverpool, again, it's a proposal for delisting of the site, meaning removal from the list of World Heritage. Now, concerning the Great Barrier Reef, that will be discussed on the 23rd, according to our time schedule. And the proposal is to put the site on the list of World Heritage in danger. We acknowledge very much the work which has been done in Australia, but our text in the draft decision and in the document, which you can see under item 7b, which is fully online in English and French, is a proposal for putting the site on the list of World Heritage in danger because of the threats which were identified also in the documents the state party provided to us. So that's the very short answer to this complex question.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Rössler. And our colleagues have put in the chat box, there would be, of course, the video available for the press conference, and also the agenda and the document links are there, so colleagues, journalist colleagues can consult with them. So while we are waiting for the next online question, I request our colleagues who are on site here in Fuzhou to kindly ask the next question.
谢谢，尊敬的罗斯任女士，您好，我是来自中国福建日报的记者。我们知道，世界遗产在全球分布不均衡，很大程度是因为保护的意识和保护能力的不一样。而开展能力建设、提升保护水平是联合国教科文组织的一项重要职能。请问，在遗产保护方面，教科文组织是如何帮助各成员国、会员国进行能力建设的？谢谢。
Thank you very much. I will request our dear Dr. Rössler and maybe also our ADG can add to this one.
Absolutely. Capacity building is one of the core functions, one of the 5 C's of the World Heritage Committee, and we have invested a lot over time in capacity building. We have the 10th anniversary of the capacity building strategy, and as was explained by our dear chairperson, yesterday the committee had an intensive debate to do also an evaluation of the capacity building strategy to work towards the future, because we see that for certain regions nominations. We need to do much more in terms of preparing sound nominations and to enhance capacity building in general, in terms of conservation and site management, preparing for risks, because many World Heritage sites are under threat, and that is a huge task to undertake. And we are assisted by the advisory bodies, especially ICROM, which is a capacity building institution based in Rome, and IUCN for Natural Heritage. But maybe Mr. Chair or Mr. ADG wish to add, please.
That would be very valuable, Mr. Chair and ADG. Dear ADG,
Yes.
would you like to add more?
Yes, I would like to also mention how important it is to see what happened during the last year and a half with the pandemic. It has forced institutions like UNESCO to find new ways of doing capacity building in regions where normally we have problem to go. And in other conventions, like the 70 Convention or the 2001 on subaquatic heritage, underwater heritage, we are trying to push to use new technologies to allow us to go broader and having capacity building prepared also online. So maybe it's part of the reflection that we have to do, how we prepare for this new world when technologies and all the digital means will somehow help us to go where we are not able to go before. And the second issue is, as the chairperson mentioned, we have two big priorities in UNESCO, and I'm not talking only about World Heritage, is priority Africa and gender. And in this sense, we are preparing, notably with Chinese financial support, a very big project that goes in this direction to help and to push this priority Africa to be somehow revised and ensured to give the results that we are all waiting. Because when Dr. Rössler told you that we are looking how to improve what we have been doing during the last 10 years, it is because we know very well that there are some regions where we need to put more efforts. And it's not only Africa, it's also Latin America, it's also the Arab region and some part of Asia. So that is for me.
Thank you very much, dear ADG and Dr. Rössler, for those answers. And as ADG has said, our dear chairperson has already added many of excellent ideas. So with that, to make sure we continue to listen to all the journalists, we move to the next question. We have still nobody is raising hands, but I'm very, very grateful to our colleagues who are putting links to the relevant documents for which the questions are being asked. So you can in detail see the drafts and then see what comes with the decision. So now we have a question here from Jamie Smith, right? So dear Jamie Smith, would you like to ask this question directly rather than me reading it? Jamie, would you like to ask?
Yes, sure. Yeah, I was just wanting to ask the chair if he could respond to the allegation from the Australian government that the decision to list the Great Barrier Reef on the endangered list was in some way politically motivated at the behest of the Chinese government. Thank you.
Dear our chair, kindly please.
The recommendation of including the Great Barrier Reef of Australia into the World Heritage List in danger was given according to the examination of IUCN the advisory body to the convention. The recommendation was made based on reports and data offered by Australia. In this regard, both the World Heritage Center and IUCN have made clarifications. Australia, as a member state of World Heritage Committee, should be aware of this situation, attach importance to the opinions of the advisory bodies, and earnestly fulfill the duty of World Heritage protection instead of making groundless accusations against other states parties. This session will review the state of conservation of the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. As the chairperson of World Heritage Committee, I believe that members of the committee will discuss and make decisions according to the suggestions of advisory bodies in a scientific manner while upholding the spirit of the convention and following the rules of the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now, I would also like our Secretariat, Dr. Mechtild, would you like to add something to the chair's explanation to this question?
I think I have nothing more to add because the chairperson clearly said it. And as usual, we follow exactly the same procedures. We get reports from states parties. We analyze these reports with our advisory bodies. We prepare the documents and then they are presented to the World Heritage Committee. So it's the same procedure. We follow it through for, and I have been here for 30 years, so it has not changed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure this is clear to all our journalist colleagues that exactly the same procedures are being followed for a long time. And thank you for very clear answers. Now, I would also like to remind colleagues, we have roughly around another 10 minutes because there is an important meeting to take place by our chair and our secretariat with our World Heritage Committee members. We have colleagues on site would like to ask any question. Colleagues on site, next question from you. Okay, kindly proceed, introduce yourself.
我是中国网记者，想请问田学军主席，世界遗产委员会提出具有代表性、平衡性和可信性的世界遗产名录全球战略，以确保名录反映具有突出普遍价值的世界文化和自然多样性。请问此次大会将如何体现这一战略？您作为大会主席，对此有什么考虑？谢谢。
这位记者提了一个非常重要的问题。针对世界遗产名录在遗产类型和地域代表性方面平衡性不足的问题，世界遗产委员会呢，于1994年提出了旨在提升世界遗产名录代表性、平衡性和可信性的全球战略。为了实现这一战略呢，缔约国和教科文组织、咨询机构等在过去20多年中共同努力，开展了很多工作。其中呢，2004年在苏州召开的第28届世界遗产委员会会议，专门呢就全球战略的实施情况进行了系统的回顾和展望。那么此次第44届世界遗产大会的召开呢，为反思、评估并推动全球战略进一步落实提供了新的重要的契机。过去2年来呢，世界遗产委员会成员国和缔约国呢，积极参与世界遗产申报程序改革特设工作组、公约行为准则开放工作组的工作， 为更好的落实全球战略开展了大量的工作，进行了有益的探索。那么本届世界遗产委员会呢，将会进一步的汇聚各方面的意见和智慧，针对非洲小岛屿发展中国家等的世界遗产代表性不足的问题，明确努力的方向，并广泛的动员利益攸关方，加大对全球战略的支持力度和参与力度，促进呢全球战略的落实。作为大会主席呢，我将鼓励和领导委员会为此呢贡献智慧和力量。呼吁呢各缔约国更加关心在世界遗产名录中代表性不足的国家和地区，特别是非洲国家和小岛屿发展中国家。那么在遗产保护上呢，给予发展中国家更多的支持，帮助他们加强能力建设，以进一步提升世界遗产名录的代表性、平衡性和可信性，使世界遗产能够更好、更全面的来反映千姿百态的世界文化和自然珍宝。谢谢。
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from online or on-site colleagues? First, online, if there is any colleague who want to take floor. So if not, let's ask colleagues in Fuzhou on-site to express their interest if they want to ask any question. On-site colleagues. Oh yeah, somebody has raised hand, I can see here. Please stand up and ask your question.
Thank you. I'm a reporter from China Daily. I have a question that, well, since some sites have been proposed to be included in the list of the water heritage in danger, so how to avoid the destiny to be finally, to be moved out of the list of cultural heritage, water heritage, if the locals willing for urban development or the construction has to be concerned, and how to balance the relationship between the economic development and their needs to protect the cultural heritage. Thank you.
Dr. Rössler.
Thank you very much. This is a very important question, because when a site is inscribed on the UNESCO's World Heritage List, the duty is of the country, but also of the international community to protect the site for the generations to come. Now, in terms of urban development, or sometimes for some of the sites out of the urban context, we have developments which are ill-advised. So what needs to be done is to work very closely with UNESCO's World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies to ensure that the development is not detrimental to the outstanding universal value, meaning that there is no impact of development on this outstanding universal value and the integrity and authenticity of the sites. Now, we have many tools at our disposal. UNESCO has also an additional legal instrument, which is the 2011 recommendation of the historic urban landscape, to ensure that any new architectural insertions and other infrastructure development development is detrimental to the protection of cities and sites. So we have a lot of other means available, other tools available, for example, impact assessments. Since 2008, we have been working also on guidance for impact assessments, and both for cultural heritage, we have them for a long time for natural heritage. And what we would like to see on the ground is that these tools are used. You know, I get hundreds of letters every day. I got over the past weekend 8,000 emails of people who are concerned about certain developments in sites. What we really would like to see is that the local and the national authorities work very closely with us to prevent any detrimental effects on the outstanding universal value. And we have all the tools at our disposal and the teams are there. And I think we have made a lot of progress over time, but we all know that there is there are global processes underway, urbanization, industrialization, etc. So we need to find a balance here in terms of sustainable development, and the World Heritage Committee and the General Assembly has adopted a global policy on World Heritage and sustainable development. And I think we need to take that serious. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Rössler, and thank you for highlighting many of the resources which are available with experts from all over the world. Very important to also note that there is so much interest in World Heritage. This is all the time we have for today. I really thank our esteemed panelists for taking these questions very carefully. And we have to announce also that for journalists on site, there is a gift for you in Chinese. So Dr. Rössler, can you quickly highlight what you are presenting to colleagues? And for journalists online, they can download it, right?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Professor Khan. We have produced for this World Heritage Committee session a special issue on China. So all for those people who are not with us in China, you have it, you can download it. It's available in English, French, Spanish, and Chinese. And we have copies in front of the press room here in Fuzhou. And it's a great pleasure for us to have so beautiful articles in this review. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Professor Khan.
Thank you very much. Very important gift for all of us. Of course, journalists very special. They will report many stories in days. We are looking forward to your stories and the coverage of World Heritage Committee's excellent work and your ideas. And I would like to also remind you, dear colleagues, that this is not our last interaction. We have very capable colleagues like Roni, Emilian, and Lucia Iglesias. They are available to you during and after the World Heritage Committee session. Their contact information is on UNESCO's website and in the press kit. And as we said before, that for this session, you will also have the video available. I wish you a great day from here in Fuzhou. I wish you were here. And I thank you again for your participation in this very interactive press conference on the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee. From all of us here in Fuzhou, we say goodbye to you, and we look forward for the good time when we can see each other in person. Thank you. Thank you very much.